Well, guys, the election has come and gone, and it now looks like we have a pretty clear picture of who the president is going to be for the next presidency. Now, this video is not going to be about whether you like Trump or not Trump, whether you don't like him. It's not going to be about my opinion on him. It's going to be more so about what's happening on the Utah real estate market. We're going to see some changes going into the economy over the next couple months. We've got the Fed funds rate actually happening today and tomorrow. We're expecting a 0.25% interest rate drop on the Fed funds rate, and I do think that will impact mortgage rates a little bit as well. We've seen some changes with interest rates. We've seen changes with inventory. We've seen changes with prices. And unfortunately, for some people, this is going to be good. And for other people, it's going to be bad. So there's a lot of moving parts here. We're going to talk about what's going to happen. I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think will happen over the next couple of weeks and next couple of months and going into 2025. Can you believe we're already here talking about 2025? There's only maybe like 55 days left in 2024, which is kind of crazy to think about. So as we do that, we're going to jump on my screen here. We're going to show you some information. We're going to talk a lot about what's happening in the market today, as well as what's happening in the next couple of months. So if you're thinking about making a move here, or you already live in the area and you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, please reach out to me. My information will be here on the screen. I've had over 1,000 people reach out to me over the last couple of years from videos just like this, and I absolutely love hearing from you guys. So if you're in the market looking to buy, sell, or invest, reach out to me. Call, text, or email me anytime. With that said, let's jump in. Had a ton of people saying that they're waiting for the election to come and go to determine what they're doing. And I think that's a fair point. I don't think much is going to change, but I can see why people are saying that. In fact, a lot of you guys who have reached out said, hey, I want to make a move. I want to buy something. I want to sell something, but I'm going to wait until the end of the year or possibly even into 2025 as things smooth out as we go through the election, as we go through the holidays and everything else. So let's jump in here. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going to happen. So first up, let's talk about interest rates. There's been a big change in interest rates. And in fact, the new Fed meeting, I believe it's actually maybe today, the day that you're watching this video, where they potentially are going to announce what's going to happen over the next couple months with interest rates. Now, the thing that's interesting is the Fed actually dropped their Fed funds rate by 0.5%. I think that was maybe about 2 months ago. Now, a lot of that was already priced into the market, and interest rates were expected to go down, but instead they actually climbed up pretty substantially. Let's take a look at my computer here, and I can show you this graph on what's going on here. So for pretty much all of 2024, we were sitting in the high 6, low 7% range for interest rates. Right here in about July, we started to see interest rates drop pretty substantially. Here in August, we got down to 6.34, climbed up just a little bit to 6.5, and then dropped going into September. This is when the Fed actually announced that they're going to be dropping rates. Now, since that time, rates actually climbed a little bit right here, getting back to 6.25, and then over the last month, during the month of October, we've climbed all the way back up to 7%. So we're actually in the same exact spot that we were in just a couple of months ago, which may not feel all that different, but there was a lot of people hoping, hey, interest rates are going to go from 7.5 to 7 to 6.5 to 6 down to 5.5 to 5, and interest rates are going to fall. However, that is not happening. Unfortunately, the job market is still strong, unemployment is still very low, and interest rates have actually climbed back up because people are scared, more so the people issuing these mortgages are scared that the inflation is going to come back, and we could be in a position where inflation goes rampant again. So interest rates have actually climbed up in anticipation of that. I don't know that that's actually going to happen, but if you watch my videos, if you go back 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, I've been saying time and time again on my videos, rates are not coming down as quickly as people think. I remember watching videos about a year ago where people said, oh yeah, rates are going to come down. They're going to come down, but we'll be back in 5% by, middle of 2024. And here we are, end of 2024, or at least, there's only a month or two left, and we're looking at 7% interest rates. So interest rates have actually gone back up. That's causing a lot of people to sit on the sidelines, which is completely understandable. If you're going out there, you're shopping for a house right now, rates are high, right? It's expensive to buy a house. Depending on what price range you're looking at, you could be looking at $2,500, $3,500, $4,500, $5,500 payments when, just a couple of years ago, you might have been 30%, 20% lower than that. So the higher interest rates is definitely causing a lot of people to sit on the market, and prices are not really adjusting because of this. Really what we're seeing is that homes are just sitting on the market a little bit longer, and home sales are actually still pretty strong. If you take a look here, this is not a market update video, but you can see that from September of 2024, here on my screen, we had 3,124 home sales compared to 3,136 in October. So I do think a large portion of this is because here in September, interest rates came down. A lot of people realized this, said, hey, now's my opportunity. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to purchase a home. And a lot of people locked in interest rates here in this low 6% range, which really is about high 5% range. This graph usually shows numbers that are a little bit higher, but I think there's a lot of people who locked in interest rates right here in this little trough and then closed on their home, which means that we still had very strong sales data for the month of October. So sales data still very strong, actually much stronger than we saw the last 2 years, which is a little bit interesting. However, I think that November and December are going to be down substantially because of this rise in interest rates here. I think a lot of people have pulled out of the market. We've seen a lot more cancellations on properties. Showings are down, days on market is up. Really, things are changing pretty substantially. So now that we've talked a little bit about what has happened, let's talk about what I think is going to happen over the next couple of months. Of course, I don't have a crystal ball. This is just my own personal opinion and kind of what I'm seeing in the housing market. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a lot of people, in fact, a lot of people who I've been talking to from videos just like this. Quick plug, reach out to me if I can help you in any way. My information will be here on the screen again. I've had a lot of people say, hey, I'm gonna wait until the election. I'm gonna wait until the holidays. I'm gonna wait until next year to see if rates are gonna come down a little bit more, to see who's gonna be president. And those are all valid reasons, right? If it makes sense for you to wait, I can understand that. You know, for some people, it makes sense to still purchase a home right now. For other people, it makes sense to wait, you know, maybe a month, 2 months, 6 months. For everybody, it's going to be a personal decision. So a lot of people are waiting to see what happens at the election. In my personal opinion, I don't think much is going to change. As far as who wins the presidential election, I don't think that's really going to have much of an effect on the economy. I don't think it'll have much of an effect on interest rates or the housing supply and demand that's out there. I think that honestly, probably things are going to stay mostly flat. I think that home sales will still be roughly what they are. I think that interest rates may come down a little bit as there's a little bit more certainty. I would not be surprised to see interest rates drop by maybe 1/8% or 1/4% going into next week, but I don't think they're going to drop a full percent, 1.5%. Anything like that, I just think is unreasonable, at least at this point in time. We need a couple more months of data. We need inflation to continue cooling. We need, actually, even though it's not a good thing, I hate to say this, but if we want interest rates to come down, we need the economy to come down as well, which means that unfortunately unemployment may have to climb. We need to quote unquote lose some jobs in order for that to happen. Now, I don't want anybody to lose their job. Of course, that's not what I'm saying, but in order for a massive change in interest rates to happen, I think that's going to be what we're going to see in the market is unemployment has to go up. People need to not be in as strong of a financial position, and we need to kind of see some quote unquote pain in the market in order for interest rates to come down. Now, for some people, that's going to be opportunity. If you're, you know, financially savvy, if you've got savings, if you've got a high paying job, that's when your opportunity is going to be. And I think that could possibly be going into next year. I think it'll probably be February, March, April, May, sometime in that time frame. We should start to see interest rates come down. I don't expect any massive changes, so it'll be something that we're kind of keeping an eye on over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months. But I do think it's going to be something that changes very slowly. The presidential election, not really going to change much. Interest rates, they might come down a little bit next week as we have some more certainty. I think the stock market will stay mostly where it's at. We might see it go up, we might see it go down, but there's not going to be any substantial changes in my opinion. Now, talking about Utah real estate specifically, I don't think we're going to see many changes in prices. I think that prices might actually come down a little bit, partially because of the election, partially because of high interest rates, but mostly because of the seasonality. If you watched any of my other videos, you'll know that seasonality here in Utah is a very real thing. If you're a buyer, actually purchasing during the winter is one of the best things you can do. Prices generally drop about 5 to 8% just because of the winter months. Things slow down, people are busy with the holidays, it's cold, it's snowy. Nobody really wants to move when it's like that, but that actually gives you opportunity if you're a buyer. So if you're a buyer in this market, I would actually start thinking about making a purchase, right? Look at what's happening with interest rates, look at what's happening with the market. I don't think we'll see any major changes, but there could be opportunity where maybe prices are coming down, and you find that right house that you can kind of negotiate on, and you might be able to save 5, 6, 7, 8% on any particular house that's out there right now. So if you're a buyer, there could be opportunity. If you're a seller, I'd probably wait till the new year. You know, honestly, if I was selling a house of mine, I would not be listing it right now. I'd be listing it in January at the very earliest, if not March or April. So for some people, you know, I'm not the one here to talk you into buying or selling a house. Of course, that's going to be a personal decision. I just want to be here to give you some advice and some personal guidance on what makes the most sense for you and your family and your financial bottom line. So that's kind of just my interpretation of what I think is going to happen. I think there's going to be opportunity. I think that prices will come down a little bit because of seasonality. I think that the number of houses that get listed for sale is going to continue to climb. You know, the inventory that we see out there in the market will continue to climb just because there's less buyers happening or jumping into the market purchasing at this time. I also think we'll continue to see cash purchases continue to increase, as well as high down payment purchases because of what's going on with interest rates, right? If you got, let's say, $100,000, $200,000, you could go and invest that in the stock market and make 6, 7, 8, 9%, right? Or you can put it towards your loan, take a smaller loan amount and actually save basically that same interest rate, right? If you're looking at a 6.5% interest rate, if you put that money towards a loan, you're basically getting a guaranteed 6.5% return on that money, because now you're not paying interest on it. So I do think that we'll continue to see more cash purchases and higher down payments going into the future. I've noticed that as well. I just sold 2 houses that were actually both full cash in just the last 3 weeks. So things are changing. Things are going to continue to change. I think there will be some certainty. I'm going to wrap up this video, guys. If I can help you in any way, please call me, text me, email me, whatever works for you, works for me. I just want to hear from you. Like I said, over 1,000 people. I absolutely love it when you guys reach out. It's so fun to hear from where people are coming from. Some people already live here. Some people are coming from across the world. I've had people from Saudi Arabia, Japan, Malaysia, all over the place, and I love hearing from you guys. So if I can help you in any way, reach out, call, text, or email me anytime. And with that said, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.